Good evening, everyone. I'm Michael Aronson, and tonight I'm standing in for the board chair, Michael Beldotti. Jaime, do we need to make any announcements about how people can contact you via email or anything, or is that sort of standard information available?
It doesn't hurt to make the announcement every single time.
Okay. Do you want to provide the contact information?
Yeah. So for everybody who's in attendance, you can use the raise hand feature if you have a question. When the comment period starts, we'll take questions either from email or via the raise hand function. And you can send me an email at jmartinez@villageofossining.org. And we are doing this because of the Governor Cuomo's executive order regarding public meetings. So we're meeting today in Zoom. That is not the nice way of putting that. I know that Amanda wrote a really nice preamble, which I did not have in front of me, but I think I covered all the parts, right?
Yep.
Did all right.
Okay, so should we get started with the agenda? The first item is PB 05-2020, BAR 07-2020, 26 Campwoods Road. Are there folks here tonight for that?
Well, we do. We should probably do like, I guess, call to order and figure out who's here and everything.
About that.
Attendance and
David Chow is in the attendees.
okay.
And Bobby Bowker said he not be here.
Okay. So, so today, Michael, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to identify who is here, and if we have any alternates, which we do today, who are the voting members today.
Okay, so the voting members today are myself, Michael Aronson, Jeff Gasparo, Seth Roy, Alberto Fernandez, David Chow, and Mike Beldotti, and Eric Talbot is an alternate. I think I got that correct?
Correct. Sitting in for Bobby Bowker. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, Bobby Bowker is, oh, Eric is sitting in for Bobby.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And we do have a Pledge of Allegiance, which we never actually do, but if you did want to do that, you could do that now.
I might, maybe, really?
No, you don't have to do it. I mean, but it's on our agenda, so I'm just.
Is it?
It's right at the top, yeah. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh my goodness, okay. Well,
oh my gosh, am I looking at the wrong agenda here? I am.
Yeah,
I don't think we've ever done the Pledge of Allegiance for this board.
You're right, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong stuff. Don't listen to me.
Okay. You have me scared.
No,
Yeah.
I apologize.
All right. I think we're good now.
We are good now. So yeah, we'll bring in Campwoods, 26 Campwoods.
Okay, great.
We have Kyle Bardwell from Chazen Associates, representing the owners for 26 Campwood.
How's everyone doing? I was standing up ready to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but I sat down quickly. So nice to see everyone again. I was last in front of the board in July. I represent Ed Miller of Miller Services at the intersection of Bell Avenue and Campwood in the Village of Ossining. And so when we met in July, we got referred to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance for the parking spaces for the turning in the existing service bays into convenience store at the gas station at the intersection of Bell Avenue and Campwoods. So last month we met the Zoning Board of Appeals and we had our variance granted for the 8 parking spaces for the convenience store square footage. So we're now back in front of the planning board. We just received comments this past week from the town consultant engineer. So we'll be responding to those comments and you'll see a submittal from us shortly. Tonight I figured I would go through the comments so that you guys can see what you're going to expect from us. Just a quick glance at all the comments. There's nothing that glares out that we couldn't do. So I'm going to start with comment 1, which was a license agreement that the village will be required for the proposed improvements within the village right-of-way such as landscaping, curb improvements, and few canopy upgrade. So we have no problem working with the village attorney to come up with a license agreement. I was going to ask who maybe we should be reaching out to come up with this license agreement.
I believe the planning director has already been in touch with the village attorney about coming up with a license agreement. So it'll be the village attorney's responsibility to draft that license agreement. And I believe, though, that we need a survey of your planned improvements in the right-of-way. And he needs that before he can get to work on the license agreement.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the Corp Council said that they would try that he thought it was reasonable to get this done by, I think it was mid to late October, like maybe the second meeting in October for the Board of Trustees. So that's on track, but that's all dependent on us getting that survey. So we just need to get that survey.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll talk about that in the one of the following. So there's only 4 comments in the last response, so I'm just going to go through each of them. So the next comment was all proposed signage improvements should be submitted for review by the building inspector. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a submittal to the building inspector showing all the signage on the lot. Basically what we're going to do is we're having a sign on the front of the facade of the building, and that's going to meet, from our understanding, going to meet all the code requirements. And then we're also going to have the sign on the canopy just like it is now. So we're doing their gas supplier. So that signage will also change, but it will conform with the code. So we'll submit this package over to the building inspector for that. Third comment was the ADA parking space and signage have been shown detailed on the plan. The details and dimensions of the parking stall should be coordinated in the detail. So this is just something on our end. You don't tell my boss, but I think I just forgot to update the details. So we're going to do that real quick. We'll certainly make that happen. And the last comment was the applicant is proposing improvements to the crosswalks in Campwoods Road and Bella Avenue, and the final layout and construction of the improvements with the village right away shall be coordinated with the village engineer. So when we last presented to you, we talked with the board and we came up basically with an idea of where we're going to show our crosswalks. So what we have done in the meantime is we have our survey crew that went out and took some additional topography where we're going to put these ADA ramps in that's going to help with the review of these improvements. So I believe that would be the survey that would suffice for, those right-of-way improvements. So that'll be in the submittal that we make to the village this go around. So at that time, I'd feel like if you guys have any questions or.
Yeah, that was basically all we were looking for as far as our comments went. And I would say they all could, if the board was comfortable, if they wanted to do any kind of conditions, because some of the, like the license agreement and the final construction documents for the crosswalk, things like that, I would say could be all conditions. So, but that's up for discussion tonight.
Perfect.
Any board members have questions?
So, Michael, my question is the crosswalk. Did we all agree that we want that further away from, I guess, Stone Avenue? I guess that's the more northerly area? Or the gas station?
Yeah, so I think that it was kind of the decision of the village engineer that it made most sense to put it where they located it across the street from the gas station and then crossing Campwoods. They felt like that was the least amount of disruption to the parking spaces, the fire hydrant, and everything else. So it made most sense.
So an L-shaped crosswalk that sort of ends not too far from where the mailbox is on the opposite side of Campwoods. I'm probably not describing that very well, but.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up and then it'll make a little more sense. So not that one.
Right.
Jaime, would there be any way that I could share my screen?
Yeah.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Sure. So this is what the idea was.
Right.
That looks right.
Yes.
I think we all like.
Yeah,
That's
and then I took, after the board meeting, I ran this by Paul Fraioli just to get his blessing, and he was comfortable with this layout also.
That's great. Are there any other outstanding items that board members wanted addressed? I don't think so, but I just want to confirm that we aren't leaving anything else out that we were concerned about.
I just want to say thank you for those additional renderings that show the building with the canopy. That's it.
I appreciate it.
Is there anybody from the public here to speak on this, Jaime?
Let me check. There is no one from the public, and if you give me a second, I will check my emails. You want to turn off the share function? Kyle? Yeah, there are no comments via email either.
Okay, so given what Brian had said, what are our options here in terms of board approvals?
I believe that it would be acceptable for you to, so I'm sorry, I was just noticing you also have to do BAR here. For the site plan approval, you know, you'd need to do a condition that they complete a license agreement that's satisfactory to Corp Council. Then Colored Sessions memo says about, yeah, the improvements in the right-of-way will be coordinated and, you know, to the satisfaction of the village engineer. I believe that there was a change to the plans that need to be made about the ADA parking space. And
Yeah, it was almost a typo, or one number had a change, but it was...
Yeah, so these I think can all be conditional. So you can.
You just cut out, Amanda, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I think if you're comfortable with approving, you can make a conditional approval.
And then do we still have to do a separate BAR approval?
Yes.
Yeah, typically you do them separately.
Okay, but that's not on our agenda for tonight.
It is.
Oh, it is? Oh, right, I'm sorry, absolutely. Okay.
And also, I'm sorry, the signage, I guess, is a separate application that they know they need to make to the village.
Okay. So do the board members feel comfortable going ahead with a conditional site approval and a BAR approval at this point?
I do.
Yep, I'm comfortable.
Me too.
Somebody like to make a motion for a conditional site plan approval and a BAR approval?
So I would suggest we approve the planning board site plan first, and then we have a separate vote on BAR. We probably just want the applicant to maybe run us through the elevations again one last time.
Okay.
But I'm happy to make the motion for the site plan approval based on those several conditions that Amanda read off before, that they're met at a later date.
I'll second.
Do we need to do roll call or?
Yeah, for purposes of the record, that's the best way to do it for Zoom.
Who seconded? Sorry.
Jeff, second.
Jeff. Okay, thank you.
If you'd like me to do the roll call, I'd be happy to. Okay, Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Beldotti.
Aye.
David Chow.
David, we're doing roll call. Can you hear that?
David, can you do like a thumbs up if you can hear us? Okay.
I think it sounds
Should
just.
Should
Sounds
I
like you.
text? Well, I don't know if he'll see the chat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for now,
Okay.
Alberto Fernandez,
Aye.
Seth Roy, Jeff Gasparo,
Aye.
Eric Talbot. You're on mute.
Aye.
Okay. Let's try and get David to vote since he's been here.
Aye.
Oh, you're okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was going to write a note.
That's a good idea.
It wouldn't be my first time.
Subtle but effective.
Yeah.
So that was, I wasn't counting. I think that's 7 in favor and none against. Yeah, so it would be good. Mike was correct. I think it would be a good idea to go over the basics of the BAR application again before you take a vote on that.
Okay. Do we want to pull up the renderings?
Yep, I'm pulling them up now. I think it's probably better to use the elevations than the renderings.
Okay.
Just because the renderings are maybe not as faithful as the elevations are. But I can pull those up as well, so just let me know.
Elevations are probably fine.
So they have here like the list of the materials that are set to be used, the hardy clapboard siding, the straight edge siding. Actually, would you like to go through this, Kyle? Are you able to? It's an architect's drawing, but.
Yeah, so I in the last meeting, I tried my best to kind of talk through it, and I know the board had some questions, and I can address those now as well. One was regarding the lack of window on the west side, right side of the elevation, as well as the back of the building. And so I talked to the architect, and the architect was saying that there's bathrooms on the west side of the building, and that's why there's no windows proposed there. And then normally, he said for security reasons, they don't put one in the back of the building. And that's what his answers were to me. So I figured that I would bring those up to you guys and relay those to him.
You want to refamiliarize the board with the proposed materials?
So I will give my best at that. I basically would read right off of what's on the submittal. Our elevations haven't changed since January. So I know because of COVID, they're asking for like pictures to be shown. So normally, if we were at a planning board in person, we would be able to bring in some of these materials. So we tried to give basically HD, photos from what the supplier would do. So, in the middle of the screen is basically all the products that we're supplying. And you can see them on the elevations, and they should be called out as such. And
yeah, they are right here. I'll read them off. There's the Certainty roof shingles, which are colonial slate. There is Hardy straight edge siding, khaki brown with 5-inch exposure painted. There's Hardy clapboard siding using Navajo beige with a 5-inch exposure painted. And then there'll be Environmental Stoneworks Dakota Pro Stack stone sill with the stone sill at the top of the course.
Jaime presents it better anyway, so I'll let him.
And there's a standing seam metal roof with terracotta accent color in front of the building. So right here, that's the terracotta roof. Again, here's that little stone. At the top of the stone, there'll be a sill, like a stone sill. The Navajo beige right here, and then the Hardy straight edge siding up here at the top by these little window gables, and of course the roof shingles. So.
I know we talked about lighting on the site, and they were going to keep the lighting sort of low, downward washing. Any kind of lighting on the building? I don't see any fixtures there unless I'm, the right.
Yeah. So normally, I guess we engineer like a photometric plan, and sometimes it doesn't jive with the architectural. So we did provide a photometric plan kind of with our lighting fixtures as well. So that's on sheet 190, and I could, they're an architectural like sconce light, so I can share my screen if you would like, Jaime, to show you what that fixture would look like.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Let me stop sharing. You want to share?
Okay. Yeah, so this is a look at the wall-mounted light. It's about 2 feet wide, 1.5 feet in height. It's architectural. It's nice. And so we're proposing. I'll show you exactly where we're proposing one in the building as well. There'll be one in the front here, one on the side, one in the front here, and one on the side. And this would be to best light up these. So these parking spaces on both sides of the property, as well as we're making sure not to put any light over the property line. So that's kind of why we went with these, just wall-mounted fixtures, aiming down type thing.
Is there a bollard light in the original plan? I remember maybe on the north side.
Yeah.
Right. So there's one existing kind of bollard light. I think it's like a tall bollard that's existing out there. So we're just going to keep that in place, and that'll help light up this corner of the property without adding more light over there. Basically, the idea. So we just put it over here to kind of light up the refuse and small part of this parking, and then this would be sufficient to light up the remaining parking area over here, as it does in kind of the existing condition. So these are 4 proposed, lights on the site.
And then the lighting underneath the canopy for the fuel tanks is just the standard whatever's there now, or something different?
That's correct. Yeah. So there's no changes to the canopy other than we're just changing the logo with the supply. Okay. The gas. So.
Okay.
Are you making sure that the canopy light also stays within the property line and not going out to the neighbors?
So, kind of in line with what I was just saying. So the canopy, we're actually not proposing any changes to the lighting, to the height of it, to the size of it. So we're understanding that it would basically fit the lighting that's out there right now. And I'm not aware of any concerns with it being too light at any point in the day.
Okay.
So, but we did, when we did our proposed 4 lights here, we did take a good look at making sure there was no spillover of light, and we're aiming our fixtures down and such to prevent that.
Does I'm just trying to figure out from the elevations here, the standing seam metal roof, does that project out from the building, the one over the main door?
So let's see. I believe it would. I think this would be a look at it here. So this is just, I believe this is that roof that you're discussing. Looking at my screen right now, is this what you're talking about, or is this the red roof?
And the red roof.
Like the terrace. Does that project out from the building above the door there?
I believe it does. I would have to follow up with the architect just to confirm like the distance and exactly how much it does bump out. But I assume it would probably be like a couple foot on.
Just because the way it appears on those renderings that you did, the new renderings, and I know that those are not always, architecturally precise, but it shows it as sort of flat there.
Right, that's a good point. So yeah, I would have to follow up with the architect on that, Jeff, to see if they come out a little bit. But I assume they do. I think that was just a mistake in the rendering creation.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be accurate with the elements, because that's what basically the department's going to have to review and enforce when it comes to, building permit, CO, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, we were hoping that the renderings kind of just gave an idea of what it would fit like in this, this area of the neighborhood kind of thing. A little better look at the overall structure of it. But the architect is definitely a little more accurate and precise when it comes to colors and design.
Any other questions from the board?
Just real quick, I guess the question I would have for you, Jeff, and the whole board is, if it's not flat and it does project, then do you want to sort of say like, hey, we like set an expectation, or is this the kind of issue that we would ask them to come back for?
Yeah, it seems that it's, first of all, it's also labeled roof, so that I think it should project unless there's some sort of reason, because of clearance that it can't. I think it actually looks very nice. I think it adds to, it's a nice, it draws your eye to the entrance, but it just seems very sort of obvious to me that it should project, and that's sort of what I'm expecting. So I don't know if there's any. That's the only thing that sort of stands out to me, but I don't know if there's a way we can like move it forward without having certainty as to that.
Is there an architectural plan in the set that would show that entrance door? And
no, this is actually the only sheet we have for elevation wise. That's all we got. And yeah, I'm under the assumption that it does project, but I can't be certain, to be honest with you guys. So
it's a roof. It should show on that west elevation. We should see kind of in that white rectangle there. We should see this thing kind of jutting out in that space. Yeah, where your cursor is.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Not up there. It's actually lower. It's because it's below that fascia there. Yeah.
Okay, so then so we're not showing. As far as I'm looking at it, we're not showing it there. So.
So what are our options here?
Well, depends, I guess. Is this kind of a material, excuse me, is this a material issue for the board? Like, do you feel that you want?
How do the other members feel?
I think the design intent is clear on the north elevation that this is kind of kind of some sort of a bay entrance that projects out, and it's got a sloped roof. I just wish it was. I do wish it was clear on the other drawings.
Right. I would keep in mind that there's still work to be done on this application to get an approval by the village. That's not going to take place until October. Even if they did get that, that would allow them to start work, but wouldn't necessarily, if this decision did get made till October, I don't know that would materially affect the project. They have one approval today. So if you are concerned about this, and I have a little bit of concern because I'm curious how this is going to get handled by the building department when it comes in, because they may look at this and say, I'm not really sure what's correct here. It seems like it might make more sense to just consider holding off in as much as it's not going to hold it back, and it would allow the applicant the opportunity to bring the architect here and better refine, or at least explain what's going on. if that's necessary.
Yeah, just a clarification as to this one element, because I feel pretty comfortable with everything else we're seeing here from a BAR perspective. You know, if the rest of the board feels the same way, then maybe we can just get clarification on this the next meeting.
Yeah, I would like to have that clarified.
Certainly. I'll get a little more detail for you guys next time. Apologize about that. But, yeah.
I mean, you know, a suggestion, if the architect were here tonight, he probably could have given us, you know, a sense of comfort. Might have been able to move ahead. You basically have approval, so you can kind of move ahead with site plan, and then, you know, you'll be back in October for, you know, basically this one little review of this one little extended roof. So, you know, we could probably do BR next month. Like Jeff said, this is really the only issue, I think, with the overall elevations.
Yeah, I understand completely. I just didn't want to say something with utter certainty that I'm just not certain about. So,
I think that's the right decision, usually.
Yeah, it's a smart move there.
So yeah, definitely. Well, the first thing I'll do tomorrow is just talk to the architect and figure out exactly what's going on in that front entrance, and I'll get that back over to the board.
Okay, so then Michael, you would just move to adjourn the BAR application, or take a motion to adjourn.
Okay, could somebody put forth a motion to adjourn the BAR to October?
This is Jeff.
Motion.
Oh, Seth, you have it?
I got it. Seth Roy motion to adjourn to October just to deal with the entrance design.
Yep. Jeff, I second.
Okay, and the roll call is Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Aye.
Jeff Gasparo.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Did I say Seth Roy already?
I don't think so. Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
All right, that was 7 in favor, none against.
Great, thank you. Okay, are we ready to move on to new business?
All right, thank you, everyone. If that's all good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see everyone next week.
Good night. Thank you.
So we've got PB 07-2020, which is 8 and 12 Liberty Street. The applicant is seeking a side yard lot line adjustment between the two properties.
We have Doug Turshen here.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Do you want to just, I don't know, can we pull up what would be the most helpful?
I'm going to pull up the survey. I think that's probably the most useful at this time.
And maybe Amanda or Jaime could just give us kind of a couple back and what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, so let me start. So basically a few years ago, Mr. Turshen came forward to get basically a lot line adjustment. He had split the parcel into two, or he subdivided the parcel, and then he built a new accessory structure in the back. So here's the accessory structure. He originally came in to get a lot line adjustment that would have moved the line over, but never filed that lot line adjustment with the county. And it turned out that the location of the new structure that he built was not in accordance with the setback requirements at the time. So he has had a new survey done and a new lot line drawn. So essentially he's here today for a subdivision.
Right.
And so because it's a subdivision,
and I own both properties.
Yeah. Because it is a subdivision, there's a lot of additional review, I think, that comes with this. And so I will hand that over to Amanda.
Yeah, so the code, meaning chapter 233 of the code, defines subdivision to include alteration of lot lines or dimensions. So that's why we're dealing with a subdivision here. And typically when you're dealing with a subdivision, there's a two-step process that the board would undertake: preliminary review and final subdivision review. But because we're dealing with, simply a lot line adjustment, the board could avail itself of provision in the subdivision code, which talks about waiving strict compliance with the subdivision, provisions that, where it says, where the planning board finds that strict compliance is not requisite in the interest of public health, safety, and general welfare, or inappropriate because of inadequacy or lack of connecting facilities, et cetera. So it basically just provides, I think, a little bit of leeway here to not go through an exhaustive preliminary and then final review of the situation here. I don't know what you've done in the past, but often you could just waive the preliminary review and go straight to a final subdivision review. I think that's what I would advise you to do in this case. I believe that this is a plat that you can base your decision on, and so we would just follow the final plat, procedure.
And this is already constructed, right? I mean, this is already built, and the applicant going for a CO kind of what to
Yeah, the primary buildings I think are actually very old. So the on lot B, those are.
Yeah,
I think both of those
they're
are
historic. They're
yeah.
they're both from the 1700s.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to point out that for purposes of SECRA, sometimes a subdivision is considered an unlisted action, which would require environmental review, but this would not be considered an unlisted or a type 1 action. It would be considered a type 2 action. So you would not need to perform an environmental review here because the granting of individual setback and lot line variances and adjustments are specifically named as a type 2 action.
So they can avoid EAC as well?
Yes, like we talked about, because EAC only looks at type 1 and unlisted actions. So...
And not historic, no HPC as well, so they do not need to go to HPC.
According to Corp Council, they don't need to go to HPC.
So just to clarify on the survey here, what's happening? The property line goes north to south, and then it goes, I guess, east west.
It used to make that turn, and now it just goes straight.
Right, and you're going to just make a little, it's going to at one point jump over a few feet. So it's not going to be perfectly straight from north to south, but it'll have a little cut in it. Yeah.
Can I just, one thing in terms of skipping to the final plat review that I want to make sure of is that this application was noticed for a public hearing. Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean, did the letters go out to everybody? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean, I want to just make sure it was specifically noticed for, a public
Amy,
hearing.
can you just unmute yourself and speak on the record so that it's like nods are not on the record?
Yes, he provided the correct documentation.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jamie.
Is there anybody from the public to speak about this, or?
I'm not sure. Nobody has a hand raised. You'd have to open the public hearing, I think. Correct?
I don't know if we're ready for that, but I was just curious. Are there other board member questions about this?
Yeah, the only question I have, Mike Beldotti, just there was some discussion last week regarding this application if we needed a long form EAF. I see they've listed the short form. Jaime, did you guys ever get long form back or?
Yeah, so just following up on what Amanda just said, that's not necessary. I think we were looking at having to do environmental review initially, but as Amanda just mentioned, it is a type 2 action, so they did a short form, which is all that's necessary.
Right. No long form is needed.
Okay, good.
Anything else? Do we want to open this up to the public?
That would be good.
Is there anybody here, Jaime?
Nobody here.
Okay.
No emails.
Okay.
They only came when we did it 5 years ago.
If there are no further questions, then Amanda and Jaime, what would our motion be?
Well, it does need to be a conditional final approval because even though it's a lot line adjustment, they would still need health department approval. Granted, it's just a no jurisdiction review, but you would need to make it the motion conditional on that.
Does Corp Counsel need to review this as well?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's just a.
It's a type negative deck, right? I mean, we're just, you know.
No, there's not even a neg deck. You don't even need to do a neg deck.
Right.
And technically it's just a subdivision. I don't know why my Corp Counsel needs to look at it. I just want to make sure though, before we take any sort of a motion, Jaime, do you know if Joe had a chance to make sure that the lots are both conforming now? We're not creating any new non-conformities by doing this?
I do know that Joe has looked at this. I don't know if he has checked to make sure that these are non-conforming or conforming lots. I think that they are, just by looking at it, they are not conforming lots. Neither of them are.
If they're pre-existing conforming, that's one thing, but if the lot line adjustment creates new non-conformities, that's an important question.
So they're based off of the zoning table written here. There are existing non-conforming lots.
Mm-hmm.
And they continue to be non-conforming.
So this is an S50 zone, which is the smallest residential zone we have in the village, 5,000 square feet. What are the two lots in terms of square footage?
The square footage is, so here, I'm going to try to see if I can
list it
zoom in on this table. It's right here, and I'll give you all the details. The size is not really the issue, I don't think. It's the front yard setback is the issue.
Is there anything about looking at the permission that we got in 2015? Basically, this was just a lapsed thing, but then we did have to move the line slightly, but it's the same thing.
I think it's not changing much.
Right. It's just, I mean, I feel like it's an important question for the board to ask. It's not clear to me from looking at the minutes of the last 2015 meeting that anybody, you know.
Yeah, so the lot area, they both are fine on lot area. As you can see, the proposed is increasing one and decreasing the other. The lot width is 50 feet, and they both are conforming to that. The front yard setback is 30 feet, and both of them have a 0-foot setback. That obviously is not changing. The one side yard setback is 8 feet, and they both are staying at less than 8 feet, but they're not changing from the amount of the side yards. And then the combined side yard for each is sort of staying at what it is. It's both of them are larger than they need to be. The rear yard setbacks are all fine. The livable floor area is fine. The building height is fine. The max impervious surface is fine. And the max building coverage is fine. So again, I'm not the building inspector, so I can't be the official arbiter of such things, but as far as I can tell, they're not increasing any of their nonconformity.
Right.
They do remain nonconforming on the front yard, but otherwise they conform with the.
Yeah, I'm sure. I appreciate you going through that for the board, Jaime, and I bet that Joe would have flagged it for us if it were an issue. But it's good to have on the record. And there are no easements that are required here, Mr. Turshen, correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because that if there were, that would be a condition of the approval. So really just the one condition that would be necessary is the health department approval.
Can I ask a question? What do I do to get that?
I believe it's just a submittal to the health department to ensure that the plat is conforming with all their requirements. I think it's really just like an administrative review on their part.
So who do I get in touch with, or?
I don't know off the top of my head.
County Health Department, the Westchester County Health Department.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. Okay, so, yes. And is that the list?
I thought you meant like a particular person. I don't know who in particular, but the county health department, yes.
Okay, and so is that, when they say that I have to file this with the county, is that it, or that's just the health department and then there's another thing?
Well, you do need to file with the county, and then there are some, I mean, you need to make sure that the village has sets on their files, but we don't need to make those conditional of the approval. Those are just code requirements that, you know, you make sure that the building department has certain copies on file.
Okay. I mean, this all came up in trying to close out the building permit. So there's all those sign-offs and everything.
Right.
But I appreciate it. Thank you.
So what
you did, sorry.
No, go ahead, Amanda, I'm sorry.
You did check to see if there was any member of the public here. I think it would be good here if you just officially opened and closed the public hearing, because you know, it's important for our subdivision code if you do that. So even if there's no one here, just take a quick open and close motion.
Okay, so a motion to actually open the public hearing?
Yeah.
This is Jeff. I'll make the motion to open the public hearing.
We have a second?
Mike Beldotti, I'll second it.
Okay. And I guess I'll do the roll call. Michael Aronson?
Aye.
Mike Beldotti?
Aye.
Belkis Amaro?
Aye.
David Chow?
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez?
Aye.
Seth Roy?
Aye.
And Eric Talbot?
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is open. Let's see if anybody now raises their hand.
Going once, going twice.
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing?
This is Jeff. I will move to close the public hearing.
Second.
This is Eric. I'll second.
Okay. And roll call again. Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Aye.
Belkis Amaro.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Seth Roy.
Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
All right. Hearing is closed.
So then do we need a motion to waive the preliminary review, or is that all, can we combine that into one motion, waiving the preliminary review and going for final review, but with conditional health department approval?
I would say it's probably fine to do it in one.
Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
Mike Baldati, I will make that motion.
Second.
Seth Roy, I'll second.
Okay. And roll call is Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Aye.
Jeff Gasparo.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Seth Roy.
Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries 7-0.
So should we move on, or?
I think this one's good.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we have BAR 09-2020, which is 104 Revolutionary Road. Applicants are seeking BAR approval for a proposed rear yard addition.
We have Dan Slavin here, and Dan, is there anybody else here with you?
Hello, can you hear me?
How's it going? Jim Coleman, all right. All right, we have Jim Coleman here.
He should be here. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Great.
Hello, it's Jim Coleman. I'm here with the owners. I don't know why my video is not. Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
Okay. Hello to the board. Should we just go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
So I'll just go right to the images here. So this is the existing house. It's a Tudor. This is the site plan. So the house is right here, surrounded by trees. Let me zoom in. There was a fire a few months ago in the house, and so the house is being restored, and we're proposing an addition on this side of the house. So this is a neighbor. It's very private. This is a private road. It's really a drive, just serves these two houses, and then there's a house up here. This is the Stop and Shop and the mall across the road. This is a view looking up that drive. This is a view to the south, and a view to the north. So you can see that the property is very well screened. This is the area where we're proposing an addition. Right in here is where we're proposing an addition. So let me just, I'll go to the, so this is the survey. It's a little bit of a unusual site. It's a non-conforming site. This really feels like the side yard on the site, but is technically the front yard because this is a Revolutionary Road and this is a private road. So we are also getting a referral to the ZBA for a front yard setback variance. And we're proposing an addition right here with Tudor detailing to match the massing, matching the dormers, and then details of the trim. This is the existing house. It's a small building. There is no first floor powder room or bedroom, so that's what we're proposing right here. It's 12 feet wide. And then at the second floor, there were very small closets from the 20s, long before Amazon. And so we're proposing a new master bath and closet at the second floor that's tucked in under the roof. So these are both dormers to maintain the massing. Here are the elevations. So this is the existing house here. This is the front. This is the addition. This is the addition on the side. We're just extending this roof line out. This is the back. And then this is the side of the house that, this is the massing that obscures the addition. This is a house in the neighborhood that the owners liked, and as a precedent, we're changing the color scheme from a cream and brown to white and black. This is the proposed roofing, the two colors. This is for trim and the stucco, and the new construction will be stucco to match the existing. And then these are new windows that we're proposing as well. So that's really the project. Happy to take questions.
A quick question. There's no access to the property, it doesn't look like, from Revolutionary Road, even though you said that that part of the house is actually considered the front yard?
Correct. Right. This is all trees, and then this is this private road. And this is a shared garage that's shared by this house and the Slavins. Oh, this is known as Wilson Lane. But you're correct, and there's actually no. There's only a pedestrian access to the property. No driveway.
Okay. And so the entire is the entire facade being redone with new stucco, or is it being painted and plus the addition?
Just repair and painting. The fire damaged the roof significantly, so we have to replace the entire roof.
Okay.
And we're replacing windows, but the actual exterior walls are in good condition.
Do you have any images of the facade that you're going to be covering over with this addition?
Yes, that's, let's see, this is right here. So we're actually going out, let me zoom in. It's a little hard to photograph because it's narrow. This is the facade right here where we're extending the roof. And these 4 openings will become the openings to the new rooms. The construction is terracotta block with a stucco finish. So it wasn't an easy way to make new openings in the block just by lowering the sills.
Yeah.
And this is that same side here.
And what's the visibility of that wall from Revolutionary Road? I know that's not technically the front of the building, but can you see that? It looks like there's maybe some screening from those trees. But
yeah, no, you really can't see it. This is the this is where the house is, right behind here. So it's raised up, and then there's heavy foliage, both evergreens and deciduous trees.
Is there a little gate in that stone wall? I thought I saw maybe something on the plan that there's maybe once like an entrance from there.
You know what? I actually let me.
I could be wrong.
No, you know what? Those are dimensions. So there's no no break in the wall. So here's the wall right here, and these are. This is.
Are you gonna? Oh, sorry. Are you gonna remove any trees or shrubs there? Will it still be screened if you have to remove any plant matter?
We're not intending to. Dan or Bell, you weren't planning to take any of these trees out, right?
No, we're not. And I just wanted to comment when you asked if it could be seen. I think that the comments we've had living there 22 years have generally been, we didn't even know there was a house there. So I think the conclusion is that a lot of people don't, if you stop and look through the trees, you'll see our house. But if you're driving by, most people don't know we exist.
Amanda, I have a question. Are we allowed to move forward with BAR approval while their front yard variance is pending, or?
Yeah, that's something I was going to address. I mean, it's not the typical way of doing things. Ideally, they would go to the ZBA first and then come to you. But there is, you know, a bit of expediency involved. Maybe that's not the right word, but because there's been a fire here, I think that it makes sense to do things a little differently and make your approval subject to them receiving an area variance from the ZBA. Although it's not typical, I think it's acceptable for you to move forward with that condition.
Yeah, and I would note that the area variance that they're asking for, it is a side yard variance, but it's not a particularly major variance. And again, the applicant is not even able to live in the house, I believe, currently because of the fire.
That's correct.
So this is this application is the process of this application is sort of prior. It has to terminate prior to them being able to start construction and move back into their home. So time is of the essence.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Do any other board members, before I open it up to the public, or any other questions from any of the other board members about this?
Just Mike Beldotti, just so for the rest of the board's comfort and ease. In the past, we have approved these types of BARs, which again, there's an urgency because of the fire. Obviously subject to whatever the zoning board's decision is. So we can approve it, zoning board can get it. They don't approve it. Otherwise, the zoning board, then at least these folks can get going. I mean, I think Jaime and Amanda summed it up pretty well.
Okay, great. Jaime, is there anybody from the public that wants to speak about this item?
Yeah, Jim, can you stop sharing your screen real quick? We do have somebody raising their hand. We have a Janice Bernard. Do you want to call for the public hearing before we have anybody speak?
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Eric Talbot, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
A second.
Seth Royal, second.
Okay. Ms. Bernard, you can speak. You have to unmute yourself, though.
So did you want to do a roll call for that vote, or you just want to?
Here we are.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Second?
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us?
We're right there, look.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're here to speak on behalf of the application. These people are good neighbors of ours, and we hope that they remain good neighbors of ours. I don't know what their plans.
Well, we just saw it's beautiful. It's a beautiful plan.
No, I don't know what their plans as far as staying at the property may or may not be. But whatever they are, we would urge your approval. We saw the plans this evening, and everything that they do is done in good taste, in an architecturally sound manner. So I'm sure that all of the improvements that they plan on making will be just as beautiful as their house is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
Yeah.
we're very happy to support you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
No, but I do believe we have to complete the motion.
Yeah, okay, so we'll complete the motion to open the public hearing and then a motion to close it. So we have to do a roll call for the opening of the public hearing, is that correct?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
that's what you should do.
Sorry.
All right, so Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Mike, you're
Mike.
Mike, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Aye.
Jeff Gasparo.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Seth Roy.
Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
Yeah, okay. And then,
A motion to close the public hearing?
yeah.
Anyone?
I'll make a close the public hearing, Mike Baldati.
This is Jeff. I'll second.
Okay. Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Aye.
Jeff Gasparo.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Seth Roy.
Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
All right, hearing is closed.
Okay, so do board members feel comfortable making a motion to approve the BAR subject to the ZBA's approval of the setback for the front yard, the variance for the setback front yard?
This is Jeff. I'll make that motion.
Seth Roy, I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Michael Aronson.
Aye.
Mike Baldati.
Aye.
Jeff Gasparo.
Aye.
David Chow.
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez.
Aye.
Seth Roy.
Aye.
And Eric Talbot.
Aye.
Great. Motion passes 7-0.
So the BAR has been approved.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Many thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that leaves us with PB 0719, 81-89 South Highland Avenue, Birch Brook Manor, and I believe the applicant is seeking a 6-month extension of the previously granted preliminary subdivision approvals.
We have Dan Patrick here from Cutting Fader, representing the applicant.
Yes, good evening. My name is Dan Patrick from Cutting Fader. I believe Paul Sysak from JMC Engineering is also on the call. Just
yes.
For any questions, I don't know if he will be necessary or not, but we are both here on behalf of Birch Brook Manor Incorporated. We are here seeking a 6-month extension of the...
Is anybody else having a hard time hearing him?
Excuse me?
I can hear him.
I can hear him.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we are seeking a 6-month extension of the preliminary subdivision approval that was granted earlier this year. If you recall, the preliminary subdivision plat approval was approved in coordination with the site plan approval for the construction of 5 townhouse units at 81-89 South Highland Avenue. About 2 weeks after that approval was granted, the COVID pandemic kind of took full effect and presumably essentially slowed down a lot of the progress that we were able to make, but we are still working towards getting all the engineering issues resolved. We have recently submitted an application to the Westchester County Department of Health. We are waiting for their approval as well as approval from the village's consulting engineer so we can come back to this board for final preliminary or final subdivision plat approval. But we are seeking an extension to provide us the additional time to allow us to address those engineering comments.
I'm sorry, Jaime, can you refresh my memory on the history here? So we approved the site plan?
I think it'd actually be better if Amanda did that because it all took place before I got here.
Okay, sorry.
She's probably best positioned to give that information.
Yeah, so there was preliminary subdivision approval. I thought that the board only voted on preliminary site plan approval, but I haven't checked back, you know, for months now. But you did grant, you know, site plan and subdivision approvals back in, I guess it was March, as well as a BAR approval. And now the applicant is looking for an extension because, you know, obviously it's taken longer than was anticipated to do all the engineering work, I guess that was required for the subdivision.
Correct. One thing I would like to just clarify is we understood this site plan approval to be conditional final site plan approval, but we are still working on those conditions, I believe. But yes, we are requesting the extension of the preliminary subdivision plat approval tonight because that is a 6-month expiration date as opposed to 1 year for site plan approval.
Okay, well, we can always talk about that at another point, Dan. But the 6-month, time is running on the subdivision approval, hence why you're here.
Do board members have questions?
Yeah, Mike Beldotti. So just my comments were at the time, you know, in February when we did the approval, you know, the conditions, typically what we've done in the past is that, you know, there were any conditions from Keller Sessions or, you know, the county. We basically did our final approval, but with preliminary in the sense that, you know, there might be an additional condition or engineering issues, as Dan pointed out, and as, you know, Brian and Joe have worked on in the past, typically back to us for any additional approval. I believe I even signed the resolution in May. So essentially, you know, we basically said we're kind of done with it. And, you know, as long as conditions were met on the Keller Session memo, and if there were any county issues or any other legal issues, you know, those would get dealt with. So just one clarification.
That's helpful.
Maybe Brian, do you want to give like an update on where we are in terms of internally meeting with the applicant?
Right. So we are working with the applicant. They did submit their water and sewer design that the village engineer needs to be okay with before getting their final health department approval. So we had an internal review on that, and I know Paul Sysak has been trying to schedule a meeting with everyone just to get all the heads together and move that along. So there is progress being made to address the conditions. Just to put I know, like Mike Beldotti just said, the board was relatively comfortable with the project. They just had to nail down some technical approvals and designs for the water and sewer, which they are making progress with.
Okay. Do we need to open a public hearing on this or just see if there's anybody to speak on it?
Yeah, I would just check if there's anybody here from the public. I don't think
there's nobody here at all.
Okay. I'm comfortable with moving forward with the extension. Any other board members have any concerns or questions?
No.
Sorry.
No, I don't.
Any conditions in, Amanda, or just straightforward?
Yeah, I don't see any need for any conditions at this point.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the 6-month extension of their previously granted subdivision approval? Preliminary subdivision approval?
This is Jeff. I will make the motion.
Okay. Second?
This is Alberto Fernandez. I second it.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call. Michael Aronson,
Aye.
Mike Beldotti,
Aye.
Jeff Gasparo,
Aye.
David Chow,
Aye.
Alberto Fernandez,
Aye.
Seth Roy,
Aye.
and Eric Talbot.
Aye.
All right, so the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I think that's it for our agenda. Do we have to approve minutes or is any other additional business?
The chair typically approves the minutes. You don't usually take a vote on those.
Okay.
Let me see. Anything else?
Nothing else?
I don't think so.
Does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Mike Beldotti.
Somebody want a second?
Nobody
Seth,
wants
I'll
to second.
second.
Nobody wants to leave. Nobody wants to say goodnight?
Too much fun. You don't really need to, I mean, you can do a roll call if you want, but.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous tonight.
Good job.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.